in case you confused it with Belgrade, Massachusetts. Apparently an aerial view of Serbia with a creepy score is all we need to set the horror tone, and I'm sure Serbia thanks you for your stereotyping.
Well, that's the thing about Mr. Voight. He never does anything he can get someone else to do for him.
That and the fact that he has no reason to drag his rich ass to sketchy as Fitsville, Serbia, and risk getting attacked, robbed, or cold. In case you confused it with the Berkshires, Serbia. I'm never invited to sex parties in the Berkshires.
What's your name?
Joey. Joseph. My friends call me Joey.
Then why even mention the Joseph part? When someone asks for your name, give them the name you go by. And if they don't repeat back exactly that name, then you punch them in the throat and never apologize. Lament configuration ceilings. When you want to give off the I am the most pretentious motherfucker you have ever met vibe, nothing shouts that out more than lament configuration ceiling. Lament configuration puzzle box not included.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Don't mind me, I'm just creeping around like a big creep because I'm the villain and have to be creepy as possible in all situations.
And it's almost finished.
Making promises your poor, tired franchise can't keep. Well, that opening didn't feel very 1987 at all. Wait, this is the 2022 Hellraiser? I thought we were sitting the first one. That's confusing as balls. Why didn't they call it something else? Hang on, I'm gonna have to rewatch them all so I can send this with confidence. There are 11 of these motherfuckers now?
I love you.
What?
Kishan said that.
I mean, if he lasted for 6 years, I think Riley should at least consider saying I love you back.
This is him.
This is Trevor.
Dating a Trevor. Has CinemaSins taught you nothing?
No one takes me seriously here.
That's because you do it enough for everyone.
Movie thinks that the excitement of an immediate meat-hook crucifixion means it can get away with dumping character development and emotional conflict for the next billion hours before getting back to any hell-raising. In summary, skip!
Got a little mat just kind of sitting on your shoulder.
Flicking an imaginary mat off your shoulder. Magic might be real in this world, Riley. You might have just killed your brother. You know, differently than you'll kill him later.
Like the they had coming in and out. It's like billionaire
Being impressed by billionaire Also, what your coming out resembles has more to do with what you eat and your current intestinal state than how much money you have.
What's in the shipment?
Don't know.
Risking stealing something mysterious with no idea if that mysterious something is something or nothing, and with no guarantee that said mysterious something will even be worth something or nothing, or something. If Trevor delivers to this place and has the key code to the storage unit, he should also know a way to get the van closer to the unit so they're not having to play hop the gate in the rain. Trevor proudly stated that they wouldn't have to break into anything because he has the storage container code, so why are they so happy to see a safe? That's definitely going to require some breaking into, unless he managed to plot convenience his way into the combination to that, too. Also, they're prancing around with no masks, no gloves, and in their regular-ass clothes. Your plan might suck, but the prep didn't need to.
What chance you could get it if I couldn't?
There's a trick to everything.
Yes, and in this case, the trick should be knowing the combination, or knowing how to crack a safe. Wait, what the f***? This worked? F***ing how? Why would knocking off the dial result in the bolt suddenly retracting? I clearly don't have a f***ing clue how safes work. And yes, I could try to confirm if this is accurate, but Googling how to crack a safe wasn't something I was willing to add to my browser history today after can a human be chained up by their weenus?
Is that it? God, I thought there'd be like a stack of bonds or some shit.
And your 14-year-old ass thought bonds would be easier to fence?
And the winds were withered in the stagnant air.
Lying in bed naked with your significant other and reading instead of doing other naked things.
Don't ask me questions if you know I can't answer them, man.
This is terrible logic. That's like expecting me to back off by saying, don't sin my movie if you know it's going to have sins in it.
Seriously, come back inside. It's just a bad night. Okay? You're just gonna regret this later.
We all will, Colin, but sadly the movie already feels fairly committed to these tired emotional beats. I won't be needing this anymore. Dumping out your pills this close to a children's playground. Riley is a dick to the worldwide accepted 5-second rule. Also, Riley takes these pills, presumably so that nobody will ever believe her when she describes the creature she's about to see, or so that maybe we won't believe it happened. Like how it's hard to believe this is the 11th Hellraiser movie. This Halloween, the confounding cuboid of your nightmares returns. Be there or be a 3D representation of a square. Hipster Rubik's Cube, the movie. Coming to a streaming service near you and probably not one of the good ones. Sticking your finger in a puzzle box's hole without its explicit consent. It missed. Why would this supernatural hellbox be created in a way that would ever mean it misses its target? If the idea is to sacrifice your mark to the Cenobites in exchange for 3 wishes or some shit, why leave the stabbing part to chance? Also, how is this even one of the steps of the puzzle? She had a box and she twisted the sides around to create another box?
Come
with us!
Is this supposed to scare me? She looks like the Cenobite version of Spider-Gwen. I would absolutely go and see what Cenobite Gwen had to offer if my current situation had me having to choose between shitty brother Matt or shitty influencer Trevor.
If not you, bring us another.
Shortly after this, brother Matt has a nightmare about being tortured by chains. The standard entry into hell, of course. But how did Pinhead know that he was going to be the one to find Riley and get stabbed by the cube?
I'm gonna rinse this off and you're gonna stay awake.
I think Matt would be better off sticking his hand directly into a blender and making his peace with amputation rather than rinsing it in this bubonic basin of bacteria. Seeing that a sink is spewing blood and choosing to get closer to it instead of running the away from it as fast as you can. Also known as pulling a Matt. When a puzzle box is no longer the shape of a box, does anyone hear it fall in the forest?
I told you he cut himself on this.
What? On that? What is that? You didn't tell us about that.
I don't know.
Which one is it, movie? Did she tell them about it or not? Because she just said she did, so now I'm confused. And holy set dressing, Batman! This is a ton of bookage! The scene does not contain Riley frantically shifting gears while Robert Tepper's No Easy Way Out plays in the background. My brother might be dead, and it might be my fault coitus.
How did you get it to change, like from the cube into that?
I didn't. It changed on its own.
That's not exactly true now, is it? Yes, it arrived in its current position on its own, but it was you turning some that set it off. Saying this makes it sound like it spontaneously changed from a cube into a hexit, dodeca, quadra, not a cube.
You believe me?
Yeah, of course. I told you I don't with like that.
Please do tell me how many voodoo cubes you've come across that you've had the opportunity to not with, Trevor.
Well, can we find out? There has to be a name somewhere.
If only there was this monitor-shaped thing that came with a keyboard and had a network of sorts where you could look stuff up.
Get me some water.
Okay.
He has to go to a different-ass room to get water? What kind of f***ed-up care facility doesn't put the person whose lungs are trying to emancipate themselves from her body near a source of water?
You don't know what you're doing. Back!
Oh, you, movie. If this amount of clumsy fumbling can solve a complicated puzzle, then I would have had far more success unlocking my college girlfriend's brassiere. Also, no one comes running when the vulnerable patient starts screaming shortly after two random people come looking for her. Why does this place hate its residents?
The thing was on the table, and then she picked it up. She tried to take it
was
from
a bad idea then, right?
The f*** did you say? What part of the last 10 minutes proves it was a bad idea to come here? That Serena tried to keep the puzzle thing and accidentally cut herself? That she actually had information about what happened to Riley's brother? That she knows who owned the damn thing? This was a productive-ass trip. If anything, I'll send it for being too helpful.
Let's just unpack everything, all right? This is a lot to process here.
We're not in a meeting, Trevor.
Riley would raise all the hell at CinemaSins. If this is supposed to be the box changing shape again under Riley's flannel, then I have to ask, why is it changing? No one has touched it since Serena was stabbed by it, and Riley was carrying it all the way down to her car. Shouldn't it have already changed shape if it was going to? Does this box have any actual rules, or does it just abide by whatever the screenplay needs it to do at any given moment? Because I think it's the latter, and all that nonsense. I don't understand exactly how these visions work. Is the idea that Cenobites are just always around us, but can only be seen and or can only attack you if you've messed with the box? Because you would think at some point the Cenobites would figure out a way to be able to attack anyone they wanted. And yes, I'm sure there are explanations in the other 27 Hellraiser films that I will never see, unless of course this video gets 27 million views, and then maybe we'll talk. If the video gets that many views, I can promise we will have such sights to show you.
Sorry for what I have done.
Non-specific apologies. This is almost as bad as saying, I'm sorry about you reacting badly to the thing I did. It's not a real apology, and I would suggest trying harder when faced with the literal embodiments of hell.
Save your breath. For screaming.
Nice quip, but does one really need to breathe in hell? What kind of search engine is doing this kind of fancy out-of-frame picture situation for a random art entrepreneur? Also, why is this website overly complicated with several dots, dashes, and even an underscore? My GeoCities site in 1997 was easier to type in than this. Why would you look at that? For once, this is a fully realized article with no repeated paragraphs or nonsense text. What a rarity. However, the sin here is that it actually gives us more insight into Voight's motivations and background than the rest of the movie will ever bother to. And it's all gone so quickly there may as well have been repeated paragraphs and nonsense text. However, it does end rather interestingly by saying that Roland Voight was presumed dead. Was presumed dead? Isn't he still presumed dead? Unless this article has already watched the movie, of course.
I called because I was worried about her hand, and they said that she wasn't there. She was in the infirmary, and then she wasn't.
And no one thought to detain or question the two strangers who came to see her that suddenly fled the scene. Riley and Trevor's main concern here should be the cops wanted to question them for assault and kidnapping.
We have to go there. To his estate, it's not that far.
Not that far. A quick Google image search actually shows this to be the rear entrance of the White Palace in Serbia. But hey, I guess we all have our own definitions of not far. Regardless, I would still give a courtesy call to the former Serbian royal family before dropping in.
I thought you believed me.
I do believe you, Riley, all
Then I thought that I could trust you.
Aw, the movie is still trying to get me to give a shit about this relationship. Wait, are we saying that she managed to fit through this hole and get to the open window? I'm not saying it's impossible, but the fact that we cut away before it happened is a suspicious as editing decision. I don't know about you guys, but the first thing I do when breaking and entering is to go to the breaker box and start flicking random switches. Never fails me. What kind of maniac spaces their notes this far apart?
Cenobite.
Underlined for your convenience. Also, Cenobite? More like Cenobite, am I right? No, seriously, that would make so much sense. They're literally from hell, and this is what I will be calling them from here on forward. Does Riley not realize there's a Hellraiser wiki that explains all of this for you? It's a great rundown of all the rules, and one of these f***ing movies goes to space. Isn't that wild, Trevor?
Space, yeah.
As we watch Riley and Colin shuffle awkwardly for almost 15 seconds, I figure this is a good time to share that this is the least compelled I've been by a movie about a cube since 2002's Hypercube. And for the other 7 people who watched 2002's Hypercube, I'll catch you at next month's support group.
What is this place?
I don't know. A dungeon?
Dungeons. I don't know about you guys, but the first thing I do when breaking and entering is to go to the breaker box behind the bar and start flicking random. Yeah, let's just casually walk around the creepy secret hallways in this creepy as house that has a sex dungeon. Seems like a really smart move, Nora. Can't wait to see how this pans out for you.
I don't have it.
And that's because Voight is still alive and he has it, which is fine. But what is not fine is the movie did not show us any way he could have come into this room while Colin and Riley were talking and taken it without being seen. Not to mention we will find out he's a clockwork man that screams in agony half the time. I can buy into Hell's bodyguards coming at the call of a puzzle box before I can buy into sneaky post-sensation cursed Voight.
Which switch?
Try all of them.
Or you could tell him to try the last one you switched to the on position, which wouldn't be a hard thing for either of you to figure out. Where exactly did Voight go after he stabbed Nora? He should have just been right behind her. So how did she get past him and all the way down the tunnel without seeing him already? Also, Nora isn't even going to get chained by the Cenobites until after they get her in the van and down the road a ways. Whereas Joey Joseph got chained up almost immediately after his contact with the puzzle box blade. Why would the timetable change post-stabbing? Is there no consistency in the Hellraiser world?
What the f*** is that? Okay, I'm gonna pull it off. Okay.
What the f*** did he just do? Any moron can see that is literally in her spine. F***ing hell, Colin. What did Nora ever do to you?
I'm gonna try to apply pressure.
Adding infection to possible paralysis. This human farming has apparently been going on for centuries, so you would think the Cenobites would be a bit more accurate with their portal openings. Or do they just enjoy the thrill of the chase? Also, if there just happened to be another car on this road full of people that had zero contact with the puzzle box or Riley's f***ed up life, would they drive into this newly created hole in the road? Or would they just be able to drive right over it? I just want a simple outline of some rules. Is that too much to ask?
Oh, God, please. God.
Listen, Nora is a perfectly fine human being, but that's the problem. She's just fine. We've spent all of 3 minutes of screen time with her in which she was neither evil enough to make this seem deserved or captivating enough to make me feel deep things about her being torturing. What a meaningless way to introduce your new Pinhead. Also, a movie about Pinhead takes 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 15 seconds to fully Pinhead. Come on, don't act like you're here for anything else.
There is so much more the body can be made to feel.
Is this ever really in question? Does someone not realize a sharp object being pushed through their throat would cause horrible pain along with many other unpleasant sensations? Do we really need a Cenobite training course for this particular subject? If the body disappears, then why is the blood still visible? Feels like that should be an either-or kind of thing.
Nora! Nora!
Does Colin believe that Nora, with a f***ing spine injury, somehow crawled out of the van while it was in motion without opening either of the back doors?
What are you?
Explores in the further regions of experience. Of sensations rim.
I love that Pinhead thinks this answers Riley's question.
You know what it can offer.
Resurrection.
But only for Matt, because f*** Nora, right?
What the f*** is that?
More importantly, why can Colin and Trevor see the Chatterer? They haven't had their blood mixed with the box yet. What are the goddamn rules? God, this movie is pissing me off. Wait, that is a f***ing option? Why would that be an option?
You guys, they're coming again. What do we do?
But why are they still coming? Now that the demon took one for the team, hasn't that orientation of the puzzle finished? Can they still chase them if they haven't activated the next part of the puzzle? Honestly, it feels like they can do whatever the they want. I don't think they need this box at all. Why does Riley think that some extra metal will stop the creatures that literally bend walls into portals to hell? Oh, it does. Well,
Are they still there?
Yeah. Yeah, they're not moving.
Colin takes great pride in f***ing up 50% of all the facts he communicates. Also, why are the Cenobites just hanging out? Should they disappear until the puzzle summons them again? If not, why didn't they chase Riley down after they took her brother? Why does their pursuit follow the 3-act format of cinema so perfectly?
It's the metal framework, I think, that runs along the whole house. It keeps them out.
Although we're not going to explain that, just going to go with Riley's assumption and hope the audience will go along with it. Well, you know what? I am not f***ing going along with it. This movie somehow found a way to make aliens that are destroyed by water seem like a good idea in comparison.
You have to take Trevor and go.
Where? What do you... What?
They have my blood. You realize that, right?
But the Cenobites have also shown recently they will attack people whose blood they don't currently possess. So why does Riley think Colin and Trevor could get away safely? Because I assure you, no one watching this movie thinks that.
I'm not losing anyone else.
Neither am I.
To be fair, you could very well lose Trevor if he doesn't get medical attention soon. And I also realize that contradicts my previous thing I sinned, but here we are.
All you have to do is feed the box. Bring it back.
Let's break this down. Voight gets a makeover a la Sid from Toy Story, lets the world believe he's dead, waits 6 years, hires a recovering addict, promises him a bunch of cash, sends him on a mission to steal the cube and find 6 people to sacrifice to it while making sure the final sacrifice happens in the sex mansion, and then gets pissy when it doesn't work out perfectly. I know his clockwork ass has some limitations, but how does this represent 6 years of planning? More also, Voight is actually lucky this turned out as well as it did, because Trevor made some questionable choices. First off, he casually left Riley with the cube, and frankly got lucky she tried to solve it. He even told her to get rid of the cube on multiple occasions. To top it off, he even tried to talk her out of going to Voight's mansion, even though that's exactly where he needs her to go. It's almost as if Trevor found out he was on the villain's team at the same time we did.
Things took a turn, all right? I admit that, but I'm handling it.
You are not. You are a Trevor. Trevors can't handle anything without screwing up the situation more royally than it already was. Trevors are the New York Mets of everyday life.
It worked on the big one. We have to assume that it's going to work on another.
Indeed, and this is as good a plan as any at this moment in time. I just don't understand why Riley didn't think of this sooner.
Take me like you took them.
Now that they're outside, where are all the chains and shit that usually take people to hell? What makes Riley so special that they need her to fucking volunteer? Not to beat a dead Cenobite, but is raspy breather here supposed to be scary? Because it sounds like me after I've run up and down a bunch of stairs, or, peeled an orange. Not sure I completely understand what this body displacement power is supposed to help. Does splitting your arm in two make you a faster runner? Why do they need to lead it inside? Why not just stab it out there in the courtyard? There seemed to be all the priest was able or willing to do about it last time.
I think it's stuck!
What do you mean you think it's stuck, Riley? That motherfucker is clearly stuck.
It's not on the floor. I'm not seeing it anywhere. Oh, shit.
It's hard to describe how unlikely of a clusterfuck this all is. Riley trips out of fucking nowhere and drops the puzzle thing before she slides into the next room, completely isolating her from it. Trevor then perfectly mistimes the closing of the doors so that Riley is blocked off from the creature and Colin is blocked off from everything. All the above allows Voight, who somehow knew exactly where he needed to be hiding, enough time to collect the puzzle and be a dick. It's as if Voight summoned the ghost of Rube Goldberg to help him out here.
You knew? You knew!
He knew.
I had experienced everything afforded to man, and still, I wanted more.
Pointless flashback about how f***ed up rich people are is pointless and f***ed up. Also, greed.
I saw pleasure, but all they have to give is pain.
Which is so weird because the Cenobites look so trustworthy. Wait, at the start of the movie, Pretty Boy got chained up and then the puzzle thing transformed into its final position. I get that the Cenobites can't take Colin away yet because the magic gates are closed, but shouldn't this stall the puzzle's transformation as well? I swear this f***ing puzzle makes less sense with every passing second. And this movie has so many passing seconds! I'm not sure why I have an erection right now. No one will be seated as the one guy with massive blood loss slowly hobbles after the other guy with massive blood loss in the world's slowest chase scene since the 1922 seminal short movie Race Through Quicksand in Cement Boots, A Tale of Two Elderly Tortoises.
We're already here.
But we enjoy playing with our food/sex toys, so keep hobbling around for as long as you like. I guess none of these Cenobites have the nitro boost embedded in their system. I feel like they wasted the speedy Cenobite on Riley's terrible plan to trap one of them. We're seriously never going to explain why the metal gates stop the supernatural immortal beings from literal hell, are we? I know I've mentioned it before, but this is some real bullshit.
Remarkable. All this. All for us.
Not for you. For me. I get what I want.
Blackmailing a Cenobite. But isn't he getting killed with a different configuration now? If Colin wasn't Riley's choice, then why did the puzzle box accept it in the first place?
We have such sights to show you.
That's no moon. Where we're going, we don't need roads. I'll be back. Catchphrases!
Lament. Lore. Lauderet. Liminal. Lazarus. Leviathan.
L'excitement?
And you have chosen a life of regret.
Yes, but until someone figures out a way to unwatch movies, I guess I'll have to live with it. The final scene of this movie is a bunch of piercing, peeling, and flaying that YouTube, and to be fair, my conscience, won't let us show. Suffice to say, I think it's supposed to symbolize that Voight has become a new Cenobite, or Jesus, or a Jesus Cenobite, or a Judas Cenobite, or a Judas Jesus Cenobite, or none of the above. Yay! Horror.
You're going to burn in a very special level of hell.
Enjoying yourself?
I'm on a budget, Sandy.
What?
I can't afford you.
I'm not a hooker.
Oh, then I really can't afford you.
Nora made tapas.
Tapas night!
There's nothing to tell.
Who invited you, Trevor?
My name is Colin Robinson, and I am what's known as a psychic vampire, or energy vampire. Energy vampires drain people's energy merely by talking.
What you're after is dangerous. It ended Voight's life, and it will end yours too. Or worse.
A fate worse than death. That's pretty bad.
Where's the turret? We missed it! Carlos! I asked you for the map.
Yeah, well, the map says we're f***ed.
Okay, everyone just stay where they are. I'm gonna check if the coast is clear.
Is it clear?
No.
How many?
Lots.
You're so ugly you could be a modern art masterpiece.
You will know our finest gift.
Where we're going, we won't need eyes to see.
We have such sights to show you.
Whoa.